that's fine. The actors aren't like people, anyways.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to What the Hell Should I Watch? I'm Steve Stebbing,
And I'm Chloe Stebbing.
and we are your weekly rundown of what we're watching, which may become what you're watching. And we come at you every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on stevestebbing.ca. And this is actually the episode before the hiatus, as Chloe and I are going to be checking out the Vancouver International Film Festival. I'll have more on that at the end of the episode, but let's just dig right into our big movie of the week. It's fresh for your eyeballs. That's right. And as I said last week, I was kind of worried going into this film because the original Danish feature stole a piece of my soul, probably. But this is the American remake of Speak No Evil.
A family is invited to spend a whole weekend in a lonely home in the countryside. But as the weekend progresses, they realize that a dark side lies within the family who invited them. Starring Mackenzie Davis, Scoot McNairy, Alex West Leffler, Dan Ho, James McAvoy, and Aisling Frankiosi. Written and directed by James Watkins.
Yeah, this is a remake of a Danish film that only came out in 2022. It's only 2 years old. And it's already hit the screen and been rewritten or readapted by James Watkins, who did Eden Lake, also did The Woman in Black. So he's got some gothic horror in there, but this probably is more to the Eden Lake side of things. But my trepidation was with going into this one was just how bleak and dark the ending of the original film is. And I mean, it is cinema trauma. Like, you do feel traumatized by that ending. And I will say that the American remake softens that. um it's not as brutal at all. It might even be slightly predictable. But that said, James McAvoy is incredible in this film. He has an unsettling charm at the beginning of this movie. But the teeter into the unstable and then the crazy stuff in the third act is really well done. And apparently he based his performance on Andrew Tate, which I find kind of interesting and topical. Aside from him playing the protagonist couple is Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis, who are both in a series that's been on my list that I've never gotten around to. It was on AMC, called Halt and Catch Fire, about like the computer industry in the 80s. Lee Pace is also in it too. Like, it was critically acclaimed and I really wanted to see it. I just never got around to it. But they reunite to be in this film, and they play, I mean, they're a couple that is, they're only there visiting these friends because they kind of needed a week, some time away. They're going through problems within their marriage that kind of come out as the film goes on. And I think, I don't know, it might be a little contrived here and there with their stuff, but they're good enough actors that they make it work. And I really like Aisling Frankiosi. She was in the Jennifer Kent film Nightingale, which is a brutal, again, another cinema trauma film, because it's got some really brutal stuff in it. And the recent Shudder film Stop Motion, which I reviewed here on the show. She's really, really great in this. She plays James McAvoy's character's partner. The kids are okay. I know it can always be a sticking line of bad kid actors, but I largely think that their performances work. And it's a fun watch. Like me and my buddy, when we went and saw it, we were kind of laughing at the what I think is like darkly funny parts that are born out of like kind of awkward cringe
Mhm.
and stuff, like just like awkward situations, awkward conversation. Um, but all in all, I dug this film. I thought it was good, and yeah.
Yeah, I watched the original, um, a few days ago, and I wrote a review for it on Letterboxd. I had a lot of problems.
Okay, I let's get into it right now. This is the
Alright.
perfect time to get into the original film because I really like the original film. I call it a breath taker because it's like that when the credits hit, you're like you feel your own. You're very aware of your own breathing.
I have problems with the motivations. I don't understand why the
Why
the
they're repeating
this
the pattern.
cycle, because it's not like they want these kids. Like, it's not like they give a shit about these kids. It's like I feel like it's just supposed to be like, oh, because they're fucked in the head, so they want to kill people and steal their kids. But that's not enough
It
for me.
feels well. I think, and I don't know. Maybe it's just more translated in the new version, but it's almost like they're looking for the perfect kid, and every time they do this procedure,
Hmm.
they lose that kid loses their spark, so then they have to use that kid to lure another kid
Right.
and family. Like it's a never ending cycle that never works out for them.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. Um, because Speak No Evil is the remake is an American film or made for North American audiences. It's not American because James Watkins is British.
Hmm.
So, but um, it because of that, um, I think they try to flesh out the psychology a bit more. So they give a bit more insight into the antagonist's actions. At least him, not her. Like she's still pretty ambiguous in it, but
Okay.
him, you get a little well, but at the same time, you don't know what's real and what's not, right? So,
Yeah.
but that ending, we might as well say it. They get stoned
They get
to
stoned
death,
to death, and the
and they
ending,
cut the girl's tongue out
the end,
like
like
on camera.
I was like, "Oh god," like, ugh, and like I couldn't really watch the stoning scene because it was just it was fucking brutal. Like it's brutal.
It's so brutal. Yeah.
But the entire lead up to it is what makes me mad because they didn't even try to live. And I know it's the like, "Oh, if I was in a horror movie, I would do way better. I wouldn't get killed." I'm not saying that they wouldn't get killed. Like they would
Yeah.
they're definitely getting killed. They're definitely dying. But just watching people sit and wait to die makes me mad. Like, saying it out loud, I feel like it's really stupid to say that, you know? Like, judging how other people die, because I know that it's supposed to be, like, realistic, like, this is supposed to be, like, how regular people or regular Danish people would react, because it's also
Yeah.
supposed to be satirizing the polite culture
The
of the
the de
Danish.
yeah, the Danish versus the Dutch.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is because
The
it's the
Dutch are
divide.
crazy, and they'll kill you and kidnap your
Y
children.
Yeah, in the countryside, and they'll cut their tongues, like, that's like, that I mean, and that's, you know, implicated in the new film. Do you still have like, even if you didn't enjoy Speak No Evil, the original, or do you still have interest in this remake now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see if James Watkins was able to do it better than the original. Um,
Yeah.
I want more information.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem, is that the lack of information, and also the complete refusal to share information amongst the characters. Even just skipping all the way to the end when Bjorn, well, in the Danish original his name is Bjorn. I don't know if if they have the same names.
No, they don't.
No, okay.
No, they changed the
Um,
names.
Bjorn is the regular non-psycho father. Like when he sees Abel dead in the pool, he doesn't say anything. He's just like, "Okay, we gotta go. We gotta get the fuck out of Dodge." I'm not gonna tell you why though,
Mhm.
so you can go and call them later and have them pick us up. Like
Yeah.
it's just little things like that where it's like you could have said something, and that doesn't like that's not part of the satirizing politeness because
Mhm.
those don't correlate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it's horror, so I'm gonna get nitpicky, and
Yeah,
I
it
got
happens.
nitpicky. Yeah,
Yeah, it totally happens. I get it. But I'm glad you're still interested in watching the new one
yeah.
because I think you'll enjoy it. And it's Blumhouse. Of course you're gonna watch it. So
Blumhouse and James McAvoy, so I can't say no.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. I got one more fresh one this week. New Sir Ian film. This is The Critic.
A powerful London theater critic becomes entangled in a web of deceit and murder, starring Ian McKellen, Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong, Ben Barnes, Alfred Enoch, Romola Garai, and Leslie Manville. Directed by Anand Tucker.
And I mean, this is a film that's clearly written for Ian McKellen to do his thing. I mean, he plays a theater critic that is at the center of revenge plots, murder plots, like all of these power plays within the theater business. And he is what excels in the film. And I mean, a couple other good performances because I love Gemma Arterton and Mark Strong, who's always great. He's going to be in The Penguin. The first episode, by the time this airs, has already been released. And Leslie Manville, I'm just a huge fan of hers. But the film itself is just a little flimsy, a little dry, and never becomes super interesting. The even the murder plot at the center of it's not. It just really didn't feel that engaging to me. Though it looks beautiful. It was done by David Higgs, who's worked a lot with Guy Ritchie. Did the Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, and Rock and Rolla as well. And I kind of expected better of the writer because they did Notes on a Scandal, which is a good film, and the Alan Partridge movie with Steve Coogan, which I really like. But I don't know, this movie just never really had me, and I'm glad that I got a screener for it and didn't have to sit in theaters for it because it just it felt really dry. So not into it. Now as we move to the home disc, it doesn't get much better. That's right. On the Blu-ray this week, I got a chance to check out what Kevin Costner threw away Yellowstone to do. This is Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1.
Chronicles a multifaceted 15-year span of pre and post Civil War expansion and settlement of the American West. Starring Kevin Costner, Sienna Miller, Sam Worthington, Will Patton, Jamie Campbell Bower, and Giovanni Ribisi. Written and directed by Kevin Costner.
And he also wrote it with John Baird and Mark Kasdan as well. And this is like the big saga that he's been wanting to make for years and years. I mean, he hasn't made a film since Open Range, which I think is 2004. So it's like 20 years ago that he made his last Western. He loves making Westerns. So there was, I think, a certain expectation that this would be at least good, because Dances with Wolves is an Academy Award winning film. Wyatt Earp I thought was solid, and Open Range was okay. This movie is fucking boring. I was so bored. Um, and it felt like it could have been condensed and made into a mini series on Paramount Plus. It didn't feel like a theatrical release in any shape or form. It just felt lacking. Like it wasn't on the level of a great sweeping Western. The music was corny. Some of the acting was really bad. You lose track of characters. Uh, I just I wanted to have a lot more for this film, especially because he has the second one that doesn't even have a release date yet because Warner Brothers canceled the release date, and it's only got just slightly better reviews than this film. He hasn't made the third film, but he is hell bent on doing it, and they're they said that they're ending Yellowstone, but they're possibly making another season of it. But either way, Costner isn't involved, and it's directly because of this Horizon saga. So I don't know. I don't know. I it just all feels like a gamble that turned into a wash. And this film is way too long and just dull and not interesting with glimmers of cool stuff, but not enough to keep it going. So I'm sad about that one. I'm sad for Costner. Really, that's just it's just when the gamble doesn't work out, you have to feel for them. And I don't throw any hate at Costner at all. He got to do his passion project. He got to do something that means a lot to him. And there's a lot of filmmakers out there that don't get a chance to do that. And he used himself and his own money and his own leverage to do it. So you got to kind of celebrate it in the end, like honestly. But it's just not working out so far. Let's get to the streaming services. That's right, the streaming pile. And Disney afforded me a look at the first 4 episodes of their new debut. Unfortunately, I only got to 3 episodes of it, but this is Agatha all along.
A spellbound Agatha Harkness regains freedom thanks to a teen's help. Intrigued by his plea, she embarks on the witch's road trials to reclaim her powers and discover the teen's motivations. Starring Kathryn Hahn, Joe Locke, Sashir Zamata, Ali An, Maria Dizia, Paul Adelstein, Miles Gutierrez Riley, Okwe, o, no, Okwe Okpak Wasili, good God, Deborah Jo Rupp, Patty Lapone, and Aubrey Plaza. Created by Jack Schaefer, available on Disney Plus.
Oh, that's good. So sometimes those are it's just so worth it. It's just so worth it. Yeah, so this is the next this is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the part of the television side. This is the follow-up to WandaVision, following Catherine Hahn's character, who within WandaVision is revealed to be uh a Marvel witch, essentially, Agatha Harkness, who is a really cool character in the comic books. So I'm glad they're exploring the spooky side of Marvel. And also Catherine Hahn is like a perfect person to do it. Like she's fantastic. I really like her and everything she pops up in. The big one for me is Aubrey Plaza. I'm just always been such a huge fan of hers. And the fact that she's like in her superstar status time, I think, is really awesome. I'm really bummed out that I didn't get her new film, My Old Ass. Have you heard
Mm.
about this movie?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I really want to see it. We didn't get it in Penticton,
Mm.
so I'm gonna have to wait till streaming or wherever the hell that happens. Um, but this show is fun. Like it starts off in a really WandaVision coded way. I want to hold back on spoilers a lot because they're only releasing the first 2 episodes, which are already available. They pop on Disney Plus on Wednesday. But I've had the opportunity to see the first 4 episodes. I only got to the third one. But the surrounding cast works. Deborah Jo Rupp, who I really only know from that '70s show, um, and a little bit from Friends. Um, she's really great, but I feel like she has like a singular mode. I can't see her playing multiple styles of characters. But I dig her in it, and I mean, so far so good. Aubrey Plaza says this is the gayest thing that Marvel has put out, and that's the reason that she signed up. So I've already felt the there's like a queer attraction in almost immediately in this show. So I don't know. I dig it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Especially coming off of like a Disney Marvel, like in that realm of Disney Plus TV's TV making. Not liking Acolyte, like I said, I'm glad that there's now a new series where I'm enjoying it, and I feel like part of it now. So that's good. But I'm enjoying it so far, and I mean, it looks great. It was shot by Caleb Heyman, who did a film on Shutter called The Mortuary Collection, which I really enjoyed. Um, and he also did all three of the Fear Street movies for Netflix,
Okay, nice.
which um I'm not gonna say like I liked all of it, but I enjoyed quite a bit of those movies,
Yeah.
especially the first film. Honestly, the first film has a kill in it that I had no idea that they were even going to go for. I was so shocked by it that they actually went through with it. So I'm still shocked even when I think about it. So if anyone hasn't seen the Fear Street movies, I'm not going to give spoilers on that, but yeah, I was surprised. Speaking of Netflix, the next series is on that streaming service. This is The Perfect Couple.
When one lavish wedding ends in disaster before it can even begin, with a body discovered in Nantucket Harbor just hours before the ceremony, everyone in the wedding party is suddenly a suspect. Starring Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber, Eve Hewson, Billy Howell, Megan Fahey, Donna Lynn Champlin, Jack Rayner, Michael Beach, Ishan Katter, Isabel Adjani, Sam Nivola, Mia Isaac, and Dakota Fanning. Created by Jenna Lamia, available on Netflix.
So this is yeah, like rich people at a wedding. Murder happens. Everybody's a suspect. The first episode does a really good job of setting up kind of motives and um. But even through that first episode, you don't even know who is the victim. So they do a good job in setting that up. It's a solid cast.
Yeah, the cast is really
I've
awesome.
Yeah, Liev Schreiber is great. Nicole Kidman, I mean, she is money. Like she is a money production grab for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get eyes on your production if you have Nicole Kidman there. Dakota Fanning plays a real socialite bitch. She plays it like really well. Jack Rayner, I've always enjoyed,
I do want to
and
see
your
more of him.
lead, yeah. Oh, for sure. I like him a lot. And well, it's the Midsummer Effect,
Exactly,
right? Like
exactly.
and the lead is Eve Hewson, who I really liked. She was in a musical movie that John Carney did on Apple TV Plus with Joseph Gordon-Levitt recently, and I'm spacing on what the title of it is, so maybe you could just drop it in there. But as it was a solid movie that I really liked. It's corny as hell, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean it's just character stuff. So like it is what it is. Like I enjoy it for what it is. I saw some people pointing out that there's some really bad wigs in it. So that kind of makes me laugh too. But I mean so far so good, and I think it's just gonna be a one-off, one series, one and done type thing. So I don't see multiple seasons. I think it's a fully contained thing. So and lastly, this one might be a little polarizing. It's What's Next? The Future with Bill Gates.
Gates tackles far reaching topics from artificial intelligence to income inequality with curiosity and an open mind. Available on Netflix. Okay, I understand the artificial intelligence, but income inequality? Why is Bill Gates talking about this?
Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly, and it's weird too because even the AI episode, which is the first episode, also feels like a that is trying to like welcome it into your lives. You know what I mean? To soften the blow. It's because like Bill Gates has also purchased like an AI company and everything, and it's like it's part of his interests, right?
Uh huh.
Like so yeah, there's some of that to it, which is like because even they say stuff in the first episode is like, we're feeding into something that's infinitely smarter than us. And I'm like, and you guys don't think that this is a bad fucking idea? I think
Mm,
AI is a horrible idea.
definitely. I mean, media has told us over and over and over again that AI is a bad idea. I mean, Skynet and Terminator,
Yeah.
fucking Ex Machina, like all that shit. I Robot, like literally, like almost every sci-fi fucking movie is about how AI is gonna kill everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I played Detroit Become Human, and I'm really excited for androids. I'll be nice to them.
There's a yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. I couldn't honestly, I couldn't see you being mean to them. I don't know though, just taking some of this information from Bill Gates, you have like it depends on how you feel about Bill Gates, honestly. As an innovator or with a conspiracy brain. Like I don't know. It depends on what your filter is on it, and that's how you're going to receive this show. It is interesting on its face value, but you do wonder what the intent is sometimes. Um, and the episode really bothered me because a lot of the transitions are full just like AI. Like when they're saying stuff, they'll have like a mosaic and it's all AI created and it like AI art bugs me.
Oh, definitely.
Multiple fingers, like all the imperfections, like the alienness of it, it bugs me. Even when they did the Marvel show Secret Invasion, the credits were all done by AI, and I hated them. They were just so it just completely visually rubbed me the wrong way.
Right.
As like felt abrasive to me. I don't know how else to explain it, but it feels wrong. If just the way my eyes perceive it is wrong.
A, a few like game companies have been trying to pass off AI as well. I guess one of the most recent examples would be Age of Mythology. It's
Mhm.
like it's an RTS game, but for like the art, like the portraits that they used to depict these mythological creatures and gods and all that, they initially in the beta were completely AI generated, and they were just hoping that nobody would notice. But of course, the beta testers noticed and everybody got super pissed, so they had to change it, but they're trying, like they're trying to pass off this AI garbage.
Right. Well, and Lionsgate signed an AI deal today
What?
to help produce their movies, and it's like, fuck you. Like that was just my first thought. So it's like, fuck you guys. Anyway, yeah. What's next with Bill? The Future with Bill Gates is available on Netflix. I have one thing that I'm adding to my library. It's right new to the library this week. Just one I got from my friends at Allied Von, moviezing.com. Uh, Big fan. This movie has been out for a while. I think it's late. I want to say it's 2010, 2011. This Patton Oswalt plays like a diehard New York Giants fan that gets beat up by his favorite New York Giant and finds himself conflicted by the whole situation to a bad degree. You know, there's this thing where comedians make really good serious actors. This was Patton Oswalt's like this was his film that established him in my mind as like, oh god, this guy has some serious depth to him because the character work in this film is phenomenal. I was already aiming to buy this film anyway, so the fact that it got sent to me is just kind of icing on the cake now. But I really like it. I don't think a lot of people got to see this film, and I think they should because it's a good film and it's a Gravitas Ventures film.
Hmm.
So there we go. There's the connection, the bookmarking connection to the butt. Is there a butt?
If you're done, I didn't know if you
It's a
were
butt.
done. I
I'm
thought
done.
we were segueing, and then you kept going, so I was like, oh shit.
Segue. That's the remember those old school those segues.
Remember when you took me to see Mall Cop?
Oh yeah, I hated that movie.
But he has diabetes.
It does.
Does.
Diabetes awareness movie. Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Okay. The first bet that I want to talk about is a new Netflix release. I think it's a Netflix original. Um, and it is Uglies.
A world in which a compulsory operation wipes out physical differences and makes everyone pretty. Starring Joey King, Keith Powers, Chase Stokes, Brianna Tew, Jan Luis Castanelos, Charmy Lee, and Laverne Cox. Directed by McG.
McG. Your movie sucks.
McG. McG. Why am I watching this movie?
Okay, literally saw it on the Netflix list or whatever, and was like, "This is so stupid. This is terrible. This is so bad that I have to watch it." Wow. Um, I don't regret that decision simply because this was so entertaining in how upsetting it was. Like, this is the epitome of, like, preteen drivel.
It
Um,
is a YA book.
yes. And I, like, did a little research on the books. There's 4 of them. The books sound way more interesting than whatever the hell this was. Like, I would read those books. But this is just crazy. Like, the pretty operation also, like, puts holes in their brains and makes them stupid, and so they can't form emotional attachments. But, like, they don't even really explore that. In the books, they do. In the books, it's crazy deep. In the book, they're discouraged from having children closer than 10 years apart to discourage sibling bonds. Like, the book goes super deep, and I do actually want to read the book, but this movie does it no justice. The only good part of this movie that I would say is Laverne Cox. But then again, I probably just really like Laverne Cox. She is
Yeah.
Sophia from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, fan favorite then.
But, like, they're literally just piecing things together in this movie to make it go forward. Like, there's one part because they have these, like, hoverboard things, and they're escaping the compound that they're kept in because the uglies, which is the pre-16-year-olds, are treated like garbage. They're treated like they don't exist because they're ugly. Because they haven't had extensive plastic surgery yet.
Oh
Um,
my god.
but they have these hoverboards, and they're trying to escape the facility, and Joey King's character is like, "Oh, but how are we gonna make the board work? Because we're going off the grid, and it needs magnets in the grid and whatever." And the other character, um, it might be Brienne Two's character, um,
Right.
is like, "Oh, it's fine. The board's gonna work because there's minerals in the river."
Oh my god.
It's just like, what? Like, it's just absurd. It's an absolutely absurd movie, but it is hilarious to watch. I would recommend it for a hate watch, simply, and I'm hoping that they
Right.
are able to pump out more of these movies because I want to continue this.
Oh, that it's a cliffhanger ending, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, of course it is. This is Divergent all over again.
They weren't
Oh
able to
boy.
finish that one either.
Nope. It just trails off
It just
with
ends.
another cliffhanger
Yeah.
ending. Yeah, it just ends. It's horrible. Horrible.
But, like, it also makes me feel bad for modern age preteens because, like, when I was a preteen, we had The Hunger Games, we had Maze Runner, we had Divergent, even though it was canceled, we still had 2 of them, and they were
Mhm.
decent. 3? See, I don't even remember.
Divergent, Allegiant, Insurgent.
Right. I don't
And
know.
then they wanted to do it the next one. They canceled the movie, so they're gonna do the next one as a TV series.
Right.
And then all the actors were like, "We didn't sign up to do
Yeah.
TV." That's so funny. That's just like the funniest thing ever. They
We
didn't
aren't
even
TV
dare to
actors.
slum to do television. It's fucking hilarious. But Miles Teller did do television because he did Nicholas Winding Refn's Amazon series. Too old, too young to die. I think that's called.
Mm.
So we did end up doing TV anyway. And Shailene Woodley, I'm sure, she did HBO shows. So liars! You guys were young and dumb
Yeah.
and hadn't done Top Gun.
The next one, a little bit of a higher note, is the Alpines.
Long held secrets follow 7 old college friends to a weekend reunion at a secluded lake house where they soon find a potential killer among them. Directed by Dante O'Bain.
This is a really interesting one. Low budget is all hell. Um,
Right.
I found a discussion about it on Reddit wherein the writer of the film was actually in the comments section and like answering people's questions and stuff, which was pretty cool. I did like this. This movie does not do well with ratings and such. It's got like a 4.4 on IMDb and a 33% on
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes. Uh,
Okay.
this is like a
So it got
student
panned.
film. Yeah.
Right.
There's filming errors. Like there's at one point where you can see somebody in like the window's reflection, like the cameraman in the window's reflection. It's just things like that. But the acting, even though I've never seen these actors before in anything else, wasn't abysmal. It was watchable. I wasn't like hyper aware that I was watching a movie and that these were actors playing a character. Um, and I did really like the premise of like these 7 friends are the embodiments of the 7 deadly sins.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So it was really fun to try to like decode like who was who. Only got 2 right in the end, but whatever. There are some points where it's like you can tell that this was like somebody's very early career markings. Like there's some holes, there's some things that just like don't really connect. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. Um and I would recommend people to at least check it out. It is available on Prime, I think through AMC.
Okay.
Through
It's one of the
through an
AMC
AMC
Plus
Plus. Yeah.
things. All right, gotcha. That's cool. That's cool that AMC Plus is helping some independent films get released and get streamed because this is the only way because there's not enough screens in the world, and especially in small towns and stuff, for everybody to see everything.
Yeah.
As I've been finding out for the last 6 years
Yeah.
now, is it's hard, that it's harder and harder to see the films that I really want to because a lot of films that I want to see are smaller productions. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's good. So that's good, and I'm gonna check that out and put it on my list for
Nice.
sure. All right, so that brings us to what's gonna happen next week. So the taste of next week is a little different because there isn't going to be a show next week. There's not going to be a show until we put out our VIF video, us covering the Vancouver International Film Festival for 2024. This is my 9th festival. The first one I went to was in 2015, but this is notably Chloe's first festival.
Yep.
So there's stuff for sure I'm looking forward to playing that I think are going to be in awards talk uh in this coming season, Conclave being one for sure. But I'm also like small quirky things like are the one that starts our festival, Secret Mall Apartment,
Yeah.
or the Steven Soderbergh film Presence.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to this one as well. We have to see a Tragically Hip documentary, which will already be on Prime by the time we go see this, but they're going to be there, so why not? But yeah, there's some stuff for sure this year that I'm excited to check out. And I know you got some stuff that you're looking forward to as well.
A Brief History of a Family, I think, is like highest on my list.
Well, we're gonna be booking our asses to get there, so we're gonna have to figure out what bus will get us exactly there, or find like a cab to get us there or something, because it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, so basically, we're on hiatus. The next time you'll see us will be our coverage of VIF. I'm very, very, very excited for this. This is going to be completely different than What the Hell Should I Watch? The video that you see week to week of us in different rooms across BC from each other. But yeah, we're going to be taking this on together. So yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. I want to drop some news here as well, as I am a new member of the Vancouver Film Critics Circle, um, a group that I've been wanting to be a part of since I started reviewing films and I started making friends within the circle and within movie reviewers and everything. And very grateful to be part of that. And now I get to submit my picks and affect who wins the awards in film for this year for my first year. So I'm very excited about that. So that is it for this week. You can find me on Twitter, Letterbox, Instagram, and Threads at the Stevel Dead.
You can find me on Letterboxd at HoneyBunChloe.
You can find all of the episodes of this show at stevestebbing.ca. You can also look up the YouTube page. Steve Stebbing is my name there. And just like and subscribe because that would be amazing. Also on shiftheads.ca. And you can join the Facebook group. There are 4,000 members there. I'm also on After the Credits with Marina, Bill, and Melissa. Our latest episode is on Rebel Ridge. It's a show I covered here as well. I'm also on Tremble, the horror podcast with Kurt and Taylor. Our new episodes are about Friday the 13th Part 2 and Friday the 13th Part 3, which Kurt got to see in 3D at the Rio. And I'm jealous about that. But the Rio is a place that we're going to be visiting a bunch in the next couple of weeks. And I'm also on Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift, iHeartRadio News Talk, News 1010 Toronto at 8 p.m. Eastern time there. And then it gets rebroadcast over the weekend on the iHeartRadio network. And that's it for us this week. We've run out of everything on our list. We're going to go hit the film festival. So until then, bye bye.